everybody, it's me again. Today is going to be about abs. Today's gym session is core related, abs, and I consider core to also be back included. So when you do your core, you should always be incorporating the balance of doing back movements too. That way you're kind of not just gonna like throw your back out if you end up doing a lot of core work. A lot of times I engage my core doing compound lifting. So when you do core work, you should probably leave it to the end of your workout. I tend to do that. Is I leave all my core to the end, because once I burn up my core completely, I'm useless at that point. So when I do core, I do a lot of weighted stuff at the gym. A lot of people don't like doing core. I think that they think that they're gonna turn bigger apparently in their midsection, or that that they think that abs are something that is almost impossible to get, or maybe they think that it is possible like that to get, which it's not. I've been working at getting abs probably maybe like 8 months now, and I have some definition, but that's like, I'm not shredded. I don't have like massive abs poking out or anything like that. So I mean, a lot of the experts say that you need to change your diet, and I'm sure you could easily get there faster by changing your diet, but I've seen other people though too, is like they're pretty much shredded, a lot of CrossFitters, and they eat tons of food. So, I mean, it depends. It's like, there's two ways I think that you can get abs, and that's working out really hard or diet. And most people do a combination of both. So, for me, I'm trying to not restrict my diet that hardcore. I enjoy food, so I'm trying to get abs the other way, which is working out fairly hard enough to burn enough calories and still be at a deficit, basically. So I've been working at it for a long time, and I'm starting to show a lot more definition. I know that eventually I'll get there, and I'm not going to give up. And the reason that I work my abs isn't just because I want abs. I work my abs or my core. I work my core because your core plays a huge factor in your stability with all your work, all your exercise movements. So, compound lifting. I like to do a lot of dumbbell work too, and I do that standing up. So I will use a lot of my core strength to do those kind of movements. And it's like, don't listen to what everybody thinks about working your core. I personally find that working your core is extremely beneficial in many aspects. So definitely get core in there, and start doing it now, because it's something that you have to continuously do throughout time, just like anything else at the gym, or in life. You have to continuously do that thing to get to the stronger parts of your body. Basically, you want to be 100%, and 100% means incorporating everything. A little of everything makes it a lot easier. I have actually have dropped 5 pounds recently. So there has been a lot of like thin skin stuff going on in my body lately. It takes a lot of time for your skin to come back from that. So, I'm being patient with it. It's not a pleasant feeling to have your skin feel like that. I know that that's a thing that happens though when people do the dieting part aspect to try and get abs, but I'm just working out really hard, and that's happening to me, you know, progressively through time. It could be stress related to, you know, I've been pushing it really hard with my routines. I'm kind of just like going full force right now, especially with I've been doing a lot more heavier weights. I'm trying to push for the heavier weights. I've been taking that break for a little while, doing something different. I also have a gym crush now, and it's kind of conflicting because, you know, part of me loves that feeling of, you know, crushing on somebody, but that tends to usually never pan out in my experience, or from what I've seen though with other people too, is your gym crushes never tend to pan out, so it's kind of not good to to focus your attention on that. And that's kind of my problem right now, is that I'm not staying as focused in my gym routine because I just want to stare at my crush. And ways to deal with your gym crush. I mean, let's talk about that one, because that's a pretty big factor in a lot of people's time at the gym, is you're crushing on somebody, because, you know, it's just natural to, I think, that for people, especially people who are like trying to better themselves and pushing for something, you know, so inspirational in their lives, is like they're dedicated to fitness. And how could you not want to like somebody in that scenario? I mean, it's bound to happen basically eventually. And for me, it takes a little bit more time to crush on somebody because I'm more attracted to personalities than appearance. So, I mean, it takes time for me to get to know somebody, and then I'll end up crushing on them like crazy. But I'm trying to stay focused, and to do that, I have to continuously, just like every day, tell myself, you know, this will pass, and take every day, you know, slowly and continuously remind myself that it's just a crush, and that it's just a crush, and that I will eventually get over it, because it's never gonna go anywhere, you know. So, I mean, it's a good thing, I think, to have a crush on somebody, you know. Having those feelings for someone is, I think, a very powerful thing, and we're all human, and we should embrace that, you know, beautiful thing that you have those feelings for somebody. I think it's, you know, endearing, basically. But you also need to realize, like, it's not realistic, and eventually you will move on to a different crush. Don't get me wrong, though. I mean, like, if you like somebody, you could kind of, like, flirt, and, you know, we're human, so let yourself feel that compassion for somebody, or that love, you know, even if it's, like, not real. You know, it's real up here, so just keep that in mind, is that it's okay to have a crush, but it usually tends to never pan out the way that you want. And you should use it, actually, as a great way to push yourself further at the gym. You know, try to not focus so much on chasing guys. I don't really chase guys much anymore. I've been single myself for quite a long time now, like years. So I don't really chase guys anymore. I'm not, I'm okay with being single and not dating, actually. So I'm comfortable with that, and, you know, who I am. So anyways, you know, you might get to know that person and realize that they're not the person that you really like or thought that they were in that case. And, you know, then things will change eventually with time. I've had quite a few gym crushes in my time working out at the gym. So, I mean, it happens, and I eventually figure out that those people are like, you know, they're still good people, but they're not exactly what I had thought of them in my head. So, you know, you get back to focusing on you, and that's really what's important, is you just focus on yourself and focus on your routine, because that's the only thing you're really gonna do. If a guy really likes you, he'll let you know, and he'll send you signals too, but he's you know, guys are shy, so they're not gonna like just throw themselves at you, because they're, you know, they're afraid of rejection too. So you kind of have to take things slow a little bit, but I mean, most guys who like you will let you know, and they'll put themselves somewhat out there. And, you know, it's like, so if you have a crush on somebody and they're kind of like not sending you any signals at all, or they're just being like themselves every day, then that's kind of means that they're not really into you anyways.
Switch it up.
It's gym time! So abs and core and back. This is kind of my go-to station for doing a lot of core work, because it just hits every single muscle basically that you want to hit in your abs. And there's many ways you can do it on this incline. You can do it straight up. There's many different moves. You can hit lower, you can hit mid, you can hit your sides. A lot of the focus though is kind of just keeping your legs kicked out basically, and engaging those ab muscles, and also exhaling is very important too when you kick up.
Switch it up.
You also use a lot of your arm muscles too to hold yourself up, but I think that this one is probably a little less harder than the other one, which is kind of holding yourself from above is the other way that you can do this.
Switch it up.
You know, I didn't really like crunches on this incline bench before when I first started doing these, but after, you know, not giving up basically and continuing to just get it down, I'm starting to really like these now, especially with the weight. It's a lot harder. I'm just doing 10 pounds right now, because even with no weight, it's still pretty hard for me to do this at an incline. And this is almost all the way up, but I think it's like one notch below. Back extensions are pretty important, I think, because it does work a lot of that glute activation and your lower back, which is something that's really, I feel like your back is hard to target, especially in core work. So this one is a kind of a go-to as well. I'm doing this kind of thing now where instead of just going up and down, I pause in between each section. And, you know, I just like try and hold it as much as possible. And then I just started actually putting more weight into it too. So right now this is just a warm up, and then I'll hit some weight. I really like these side crunches. There's something I would actually recommend doing first before you do any of your core work, because you get like a really good stretch when you pull yourself down like that, and I think that just opens up your muscles a lot more and like makes it easier to actually really pump blood into your abs or your back, whichever it is that you want to do next after this movement. I've seen people do these at like mid-level usually, and that I tried that and it wasn't really kind of doing anything for me, so I kind of did something else, which is a little bit similar to when you use a landmine and you do a rotational punch kind of thing. So you have the cable down at the very bottom and it's almost like doing an uppercut, but you have to focus on not using your arm so much, but your abs. And that's why I'm kind of holding my hand there to make sure that this is the muscle group that I'm engaging when I'm doing my turn. I really like these though too, so I'll probably start incorporating these more in my ab work. It's just something new and it feels completely different. These ones are kind of the same concept. They do kind of work somewhat of your shoulder and arm here, but if you just do straight arms, straight up, you feel it in your abs a lot, especially right where my hand is. It's kind of more of in the front by your ribs. So this is one I used to do a lot before. I really like it. It's something I'll probably need to start doing again actually too. There is another machine like this that's laying on your back basically, and I don't really like laying down on my back like very much at all in the gym, so this is kind of like a different option if you don't like the other kind of one. I think I like this machine more than the other one too, so I could do a lot more weight as well. On the other one you can't do any weight at all. And I'll usually always superset that with the plate side crunches. I would recommend going pretty light, maybe like a 25. I've worked up to 45. And I'll probably just stick to that. I mean, if I wanted to go heavier, I could grab a dumbbell and do the same concept with this. And again, you can kind of see that I'm putting my hand where I want to engage my muscles. It's just a nice way to remind you that here are the muscles that you want to engage, and it'll help you make that mind to muscle connectivity. This is a seated back row machine. I have never used this before. This is the first time I've used it. I really like it. It's a great finisher, I think, for after doing a bunch of ab work. So, I mean, it was really good. The one arm is really nice, and at the mid grip too. I think I even go to a different double grip, and it just doesn't feel the same. I think this is probably the better grip for me. It all depends on like what your height is and what feels right to you. So this one was a nice one though, and I think I'll probably definitely go back to using this one again.
Man, it is really hard to get over your gym crush when they freaking work out next to you the whole day. So, I'm like thinking, yesterday I'm thinking, I'm just gonna let this go, you know? It's like, I'm just gonna let this go. I'm gonna like try and focus. And then you go into the gym and you think there's no possible way that they're gonna come in and work out next to you the entire time, but they do. And so, what do you do? I mean, I'm so mad at my gym crush right now. It's like, he could have gone, he usually goes later, but for some reason, the one day that I decided to go in early to get a session done, he's there. And then he works out right next to me the entire time almost. So, yeah, it's not looking good for me. And I don't know. It's just a really hard thing to take on every day. So, I mean, at this point, I think that it's a little weird, and he probably knows that I like him. But I'm gonna try and keep my cool, and I'm gonna try and just like, you know, not go any further than just saying hello and being friends, because that's ultimately where I want to be anyways. He's so dang adorable, though. So it makes it really hard to work out when he's right there next to me, and all I want to do is stare at him. My best advice is to just keep cool, try to be friendly, you know, smile and say hello if that gets that further, but, you know, just try to keep focus on your routine.